it is. Running it down on these niggas.
Sex, drugs, money, and murder, my nigga. You know how we get it, my nigga. Still be painting them pictures, my nigga. Ripping that raw and fucking your bitches. Sex, drugs, money, and murder. 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 Niggas, they never will hurt you. Niggas, they never will hurt you. Sex, drugs, money, and murder. Sex, drugs, money, and murder.
How the traps right, understand how to get that. Ran down on them niggas with a flip back. Knew I never seen another nigga live like that. I was still getting stacks back. Had to fuck around getting them packs back. Niggas.
What's goody, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Bulletz, Gotti. You already know what it is. Back with another one. It's been a minute. You know what I'm saying? I ain't dropped a video in a minute. But we back with another one. Now, this video that I'm doing, we're going to talk about the relationships and the done. Not even the relationship. We just going to talk about Haitian Jack and Tupac and just that whole, the whole situation, right? So, I was watching a couple videos the other day, right? And you know, I had did a piece on Haitian Jack a while back. And I was watching a video, and I was watching the Bill Courtney. I went back and watched the Bill Courtney interview, and I was watching the Mark Curry interview. And what really dawned on me is this, right? Haitian Jack was the 90s era William O'Neal. Like, he was the hip-hop version of William O'Neal. That's Haitian Jack. He was the William O'Neal of the streets and hip-hop. Because if you really look at it, right, him linking up with Pac, you know, him, Shorty, and let's look at it, right? He did this situation to, let's look. What happened to Pac, he tried to do the same thing to Puff. You know what I'm saying? He tried to do the same situation with Puff. Mark Curry and Sean was in the spot when this situation happened. But he tried to do that to Puff, right? Fast forward now. Or let's rewind. Not even fast forward. Let's rewind. Let's look. Pac basically was cool with Jack, right? He was running around with Jack. But he was running around with a lot of street dudes in New York, not just Haitian Jack. Because, see, a lot of people think that Pac was just running with Haitian Jack, and he wasn't running with a lot. That was the only New York, Brooklyn dude he was running with. You know what I'm saying? He ran with Jimmy, but he didn't run with Jimmy like that. You know? Who he really was running with was, you know, T Black, who he was running with a lot. He was running with T Black heavy. You know, T Black was his means. Like, that was who Pac was running with. If you listen to the city, you listen to, you know, every time he was going to Queens, he was going to check, you know, because T Black was out there in Queens. So he was going to check T Black. He chilling with Black. He chilling with Preem. You know, he cool with Preem. You know, he cool with E Money Bags and Nickels. And he chilling with Gangsta Lou and Pretty Tone Capone. You know, he cool with, you know, the Valley homies. You know, he chilling with, you know, same gang homies. You know what I mean? He chilling with all of the street dudes in New York. Pistol Pete, you name him. He running around with these dudes in New York, right? Percy, R.I.P. So he running with all the New York dudes, and all the New York dudes in New York got massive respect for son. You know what I'm saying? And even when he was locked up, you know, he still, because people try to make it seem like, oh, Brooklyn was all against him in prison. When he was linked in with all the 5 boroughs, he had the rap hunters holding him down, rap, you know, rapping them. Charlie Rock, LD, they was holding him down, right? He had Kool-Aid from Crown Heights, you know what I'm saying? That was down with Bush and Webb holding him down, right, in jail. So when, you know, Bill Courtney get on there and say, oh, he had an issue And Pac didn't have no issue. You know, the whole sexual assault thing, it came from that camp. You understand what I'm saying? It came from dudes that was affiliated with that circle, you know, with Jack's circle, that went and was telling the dude that Wendy was dealing with was affiliated with Jack. Not Kevin, not the one she married, but another dude she was dealing with told her that a situation happened to Pac in jail. But that never happened. You know what I'm saying? That was a lie. And it was a terrible lie and rumor that they put out there. You understand what I'm saying? For years. And it never happened. Now, this is the thing about Haitian Jack, right? If you ever read, before Bill Courtney came on the net and confirmed that Jack was his guy, you know, before that, you know, for years, it's been said he was working. You know, Jimmy Hinchman outed him in Vibe magazine, I remember. But he said he told on him when he caught his case in North Carolina, right? The thing that people be talking about where they found online where they speak about Jack was an old form. Hold on one second. Yeah. So it was an old link that used to be in the blogs where it spoke about Jack, the situation with the girl, this whole black mafia, and they talked about how Jack was working with the FBI and the NYPD. Now, Pac lawyer was the one that told Pac that Jack was no good because of his rap sheet. He had a long, outstanding rap sheet, right? Now, mind you, right, Jack was running around doing all type of extortion, all type of everything, right? He was involved in a whole lot, right? So when Jack gets down with Pac, at the time he gets down with Pac, this is Pac coming off of the shooting out in Georgia, right? With the two off-duty cops, right? That he didn't know that was off-duty cops. He links with Jack. He meets Jack at the club. I forgot what club they was at. No, it was Nels. I think it was Nels, or it was the Red Zone. It was one of them clubs. I don't know if it was the Red Zone. I think it was Nels, or it could have been, yeah, it was probably Nels. Yeah, it was Nels. So he met him at Nels, right? And he linked up with Pac. They became cool. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the story is what it is. You know, he took a liking to Pac. Pac took a liking to him. They was chilling. He was chilling with him and Ricky Lee. But the thing with Jack is he was around out here setting up and doing a lot of grimy stuff. Now, mind you, a lot of street dudes know of Jack and know his movements. You know what I'm saying? And his movements was just like what happened with Pac. See, Pac wasn't bugging. See, a lot of people say, oh, Pac was lying, Pac was tripping. No, Pac wasn't tripping when he said what he said. Pac knew more than what people thought he did. He knew that Jack was no good through his lawyer, right? And never spent time on that case. Pac spent time for the gun and all that and went to jail, right? Now, Jack, he out here, he building cases on dudes. You know what I'm saying? And what he did was he got into the industry and he was the tool for the police. As you can hear, Bill Courtney exposing him. If you just listen to the conversation, you listen to Bill Courtney, every interview he has done on AGTV, and even Vlad, he exposed the fact that Jack was giving him intel on everything that was going on. And if you read the blog that they had back in the day about Jack and how he was working as, like, to me, Jack was the black Gregory Scarpa. If you know Gregory Scarpa, Haitian Jack was the black Gregory Scarpa. I can't even say William O'Neill. He was more like a Gregory Scarpa type. Because you could say he's a mixture of both. He's a mixture of William O'Neill and Gregory Scarpa. But he was more of a Gregory Scarpa type because Gregory Scarpa was working for the feds from the 60s all the way to the 90s. And he was doing a whole lot of menacing. So when you look at Haitian Jack, he was the Gregory Scarpa of hip hop. He was the black Gregory Scarpa. And as you really take a look, when Jack got into the situation with BMF, you know, in 2004 with MC Lyte, he basically just, you know, called off his fight because he was going to fight deportation, but he called it off and just let them deport him. Now, mind you, right, Jack at the time had issues with BMF, had issues with Meech, you know, around them times, right? The whole situation. But he was giving them intel about BMF, just like he was giving them intel about World. He was giving them intel about Bad Boy. He was giving them about Puff. You know what I'm saying? He was giving them intel about a lot of dudes. Pistol Pete. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know the story about Pete. You know, one of the cases that Pete, I think, is in his, I don't know if it's one of those cases is in his, is in one of his, I think it is actually, it is one of the cases he was charged with. Is a case about a dude named, forgot his name, but his name was, they call him, I forgot his last name, but his name was Anthony, right? And they had Manhattan proper. They had the barbershop, right? Him and Jack. They owned the barbershop together, a cat named Anthony, right? They ended up killing him in the crib. And they was gonna end up almost killing Jack. But Jack had drove off. If you read the book Sex Money Murder, they speak about the situation where, you know, dude was supplying Pete and them. Or he was really supplying John Castro and Pete, Uncle and Pete. And what happened was a situation happened where they felt they was getting shiced and they was getting, you know, beating out their money. So what happened was, son, Pete and them came in and they clapped homie. You know what I'm saying? They clapped homie, and homie got killed in the crib. Now, mind you, this dude was, you know, Jack's partner. This was his man. This was right-hand man. They had the barbershop and all that together. You understand? You know what I'm saying? They had the barbershop and all that. They ended up dropping his body off in the Bronx. You know, his name was Anthony Dunkley. That was his name, Anthony Dunkley. They ended up dropping his body off. Now, Pete and Jack had a situation at the tunnel where it was some conflict with Jack and Pete. And, you know, Jack told all that fly shit in the interview that, you know, when he saw homie, you know, what he said, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like that. Whatever he said in the words that he said it wasn't, you know, he tried to make it seem like it wasn't, like he ain't had no issues in the tunnel, right? He didn't have a situation, but he did. Where Pete and them was gunning for him to come in the section. He didn't come in the section. So the dude, Anthony Dunkley, a lot of people don't know, he was down with David Hyatt. You know what I'm saying? David Hyatt, Peter Thomas, you know what I'm saying? Because all of them got they start. Jimmy Hinchman, Jack, all of them got they start messing with David Hyatt. David Hyatt put all of them on, right? And like I said, Dunkley and Jack had the barbershop celebrity status next door to Manhattan proper. So, you know, when Dunkley got killed, right? When he got killed by Pete and them, you know, Jack was treading lightly. And allegedly, a lot of people in the streets felt like Jack put them people on them, on Pete and them. You know, on the low, that's what the streets felt. Like Jack put them people on Pete. Same with the situation with Peter Shue. Peter Shue felt like Jack put them people on him. And, you know, Madonna, hooking him up with Madonna, and then, you know, and all that. He said, you know, he ain't seen no paperwork, but he felt like Jack was the one that set him up. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with, like, the World situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, when World, you know, the cop even, you know, when a lot of people, you know, I didn't know. You know, when the cop confirmed that, because, you know, you thought it was rumors. Like, back in the days when you heard the stories about how Jack was really, like, you know, giving intel to the hip-hop police and to the police and the feds. But really, the hip-hop police and the feds, but he was giving a lot of the information to the hip-hop cops. Details about what crew was beefing and the inside information he had. You know what I'm saying? He was giving them details about, you know, the Murder Inc. and G-Unit situation, World, you know, him was out here doing his thing, Junior Mafia, Murder. He was giving them a lot of details on all the crews. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they had the portfolio, because they had a lot of intel. And he was, like I said, he was under Bill Courtney. You know, that was his handler. You know, he was like with Gregory Scarpa and Whitey Bulger. He was just like them. You know what I'm saying? But he was the black version. He was the black version. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Whitey Bulger was like that too. But when you talk about like New York, like who I could compare, he was the Gregory Scarpa of New York. Gregory Scarpa was murdering everything moving for the Colombo crime family. You know, he was the main hitter for Persico. You know, and he was giving so much information on everybody in the streets, it wasn't even funny. So that's the same thing that Jack was doing. He was giving out a lot of information that it wasn't even funny, that they ended up using the information and they had big cases on dudes. You know what I'm saying? And it was the help of with Jack, because Jack was mingling with the stars. He was dating Vivica Fox. He was dating all these celebrity model joints. Naomi Campbell, this one, that one. He driving all the sports cars. You know what I'm saying? He wearing the designer clothes, the Versace, the Gucci, the Dolce & Gabbana, the Prada. You know what I'm saying? He going to the Diamond District, the Jacob. He got the AP. He got the Rollie. You know what I'm saying? These were the dudes that, look, John Forte. You know, Prize, he the one that set up John Forte. But they was in that same circle. Dudes got lined up. You know what I'm saying? So that circle was really, you know what I'm saying? Like when Prize, because I didn't even, when I heard, when they exposed Prize the way they did, that he was working for them for, you don't even know how long Prize was working for them, because Prize, I never looked at Prize as no rapper. He wasn't that great of a rapper. So when you seen how Prize, you know how Prize went out and how they exposed him and blew his spot up and said how he was working for them for how many years? For decades? That's how you know, like, you know, you can't trust these dudes. These dudes, like Jack, they under the radar. You know what I'm saying? He been working for so many years. And he had a position. You gotta remember, this dude, these dudes, These dudes been working for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And he was able to live the high life. He was supposed to be deported. And y'all gotta remember, this is somebody that had diplomatic immunity. This is somebody that family was a part of the Papa Doc regime. You understand what I'm saying? So he had the diplomatic immunity. He had everything. So he fought for the he was enlisted in the U.S. military. He was an Army vet, right? He was robbing, extorting, shooting, selling drugs, doing all of that, right? And he had all these people under him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he now can retire. Like Gregory Scarpa wasn't able to retire. Like it was to the point they got tired of him and they just threw him in the can and he died in there. But with Jack, it's like Dawn was able to go to the Dominican Republic and be successful and get a bag and still pressing dudes for a bag. You know what I'm saying? He's still extorting dudes. You know, till this day. You know what I'm saying? Dudes is still getting money. You heard what Bill Courtney said? That dudes like Akon and all them, Wyclef and everybody in the industry is coming down there to DR and they hitting them all for the bag. So you already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard the stories, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but he wasn't a trustworthy dude. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to line up a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Certain dudes wasn't, you know, like 50, he wasn't feeling his energy. You know what I'm saying? 50 steered clear from him. You know what I'm saying? Nas, he tried to play the extortion game with Nas. Nas and them wasn't going for it. You know what I'm saying? He tried to play that game with, like I said, with 50. You know what I'm saying? Pac wasn't going for it. You know? Puff and them wasn't going for it. That's why Puff had all his Valley dudes and all his dudes with him because he knew how boy played. You know what I'm saying? It was just the way son played. He played a real dirty game, and he was working with them people. And he put them people on a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people in the game, a lot of people in the streets. I won't be surprised that a lot of dudes in that era that was in the music industry got federal cases, like Tut, like Pete, like World, like Preem. A lot of them got federal cases because Peter Shoe. A lot of them got federal cases because of old boy. I really believe that he put the hip-hop police and the feds on a lot of street figures that was trying to get in the industry because he had the clutches of the industry and he had the extortion game on lock in the industry. So he had to put them people on dudes. And when you got a cop, police officer confirming this, not surprised. But it is what it is, man. It's your boy Bulletz Gotti. You already know what it is. Salute.